Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast from www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
And my name's Jonty.
Good evening, gentlemen. How do I find you?
Well, actually, yeah, doing very excited about the game that's going on at the moment as we're recording. Liverpool playing Bournemouth. And, my captain Benteke has just scored in the first half.
Yeah, pretty fortunate, don't you reckon, Granville? Clearly offside. Coutinho almost got a touch. Unbelievable, that's the kind of luck that you need like this.
Hang on, let Jonty tell us.
Go on.
Was it offside?
I don't care. I'm playing fantasy football, not real life football.
See, this is it. It's like me in game week 1 getting robbed of that silver goal by the press association, and then you get it's just
But that's typical of Yaya Touré's luck. It was 2 seasons ago. That was always it. It's like, Aguero was so lucky Yaya Touré was so lucky. Aguero got taken off, and then there was a penalty a minute after. Well, that's just what he does. He just oozes luck on the pitch. And
is he? Yeah, it's one of the questions I meant to ask in a previous guy, because he probably is the most fortunate fantasy asset ever.
Oh yeah, totally.
Put it out there. Welcome to another Scoutcast. If you've never listened or watched one of these before, where have you been? Basically, it's three gentlemen, or I say gentlemen, in the very loosest sense of the word, talking about fantasy football. We talk about nonsense, basically. We talk about our teams and how badly we're doing. That's certainly the case this season. But throughout the show, we're going to talk about some of the communities teams as well. And if you want to get involved, get on the site, get on the hot topic, get on Twitter. That's right, isn't it, Jonty? We got some ways people can get involved.
Yeah, basically, they can go on Twitter or the site. They can ask some questions there, or and once they are, one of the easiest ways for us to get some questions live is using the comment function on YouTube. So that makes it nice and easy for us. But
good old YouTube.
Yes.
Not just looking at Taylor Swift videos. It's great fun as well.
Excuse me if I keep looking that way, because that's the television.
Yeah, stop watching.
Well, I'm just going to commentate.
Oh, I don't hear that.
Well, keep me posted about any more Benteke goals.
Oh, here you go. Bournemouth, go on. Oh.
No more offside goals, please, Benteke. Okay, things we're going to cover in the Scoutcast. Lots of great questions from the community. Lots of transfer activity. We're going to talk Rooney. We're going to talk Walcott. We're going to talk a bit about Ozil, maybe. A bit about the market. It was just gone mental because on Sunday night, the FPL site was really struggling with so many transfers. Probably lots of wild cards to blame for that. We're going to talk about Mahrez. Can he keep it going? Maybe touch on Juve and Saku, Lukaku and Barkley. Lots to discuss here. Man City. How many assets do you get ahead of game week 4? Plenty to take in. First of all, our game weeks. I'll let you go first, Jonty, because I think you were the cream of the crop at the moment, aren't you?
Well, I was doing very badly. I had 26. Walcott didn't play, so I had 2 points coming off my bench with Wes Morgan. But Benteke is my captain. I've also got Wilson playing tonight. So I think if Benteke doesn't get any bonus and it stays exactly how it is, I'll get 42. If Benteke gets bonus, obviously I'll be looking at somewhere perhaps up to 48. If Benteke scores some more, well then I'm having an okay week. But so while 42 in previous seasons, I would have thought, oh my God, that's not such a great score, pretty average. After last week and the way this week was going, with all the captains that I was considering failing, I'll take anything over 40. I'll
tell you what, Jonty, if I had 42, I'd be drinking prosecco right now. I would be celebrating.
I don't remember at the start of the season this low scoring. No. I really don't. It's not that there's not been any goals in the games. It's just that not the players that we expected to have scored anything. I mean, Benteke was quite popular in the teams on the site, but. The players like Walcott and Richie, and who else is popular who hasn't turned up? Kane, Rooney, of course.
And Hazard, there's that fella called Hazard who went to you quite good.
Well, see, I sold Hazard. I just looked at the next 2 games and actually listened to your advice, Jonty. You said you didn't see Hazard would do much.
No,
my advice.
Well, I did what you did, but you went a bit further than me, didn't you, Granville, this week? Because I got Hazard out for Payet from West Ham, and he did instant rewards. And Granville, you did similar, but more.
Yeah, Granville, what happened in your game week? Go on, tell us.
Well, I sold. I was oohing and ahhing. There's so many players that I could have sold. Really, I had so much choice, which sometimes isn't a good thing. So I ended up. I was gonna get rid of Walcott. I was gonna get rid of Sterling, but in the end, I decided I'm gonna get 2 players, and so I sold Hazard and Wanyama for Payet and Ayew. So that worked out. It did work out.
16 points in those 2, surely.
Yeah. And I sold Hazard, and that was obviously a worry, but he didn't do anything. And Wanyama's not going to do anything anyway, so I'm all right. I mean, I was a bit disappointed that Norwich scored 3 goals, and yet again Jerome hasn't got anything out of it. He was unlucky last week, and he had a chance, a couple of chances. I think he bottled it actually this week. What else happened? My captain and Kane captain didn't come off, unfortunately. It was I figured it was probably the best out of all the captaincies. I just thought he was going to do something, but it never happened, and he got taken off after about 65 minutes with cramp, I believe.
Yeah, nothing serious, but I mean, what's your plan Aguero wise? Because you got 1.5 in the bank, haven't you? So
yeah, I haven't quite got enough.
A plan yet?
There is a plan if I need to. I was just waiting for the end of this game, see what Liverpool are going to do, and see whether I should keep Richie. I'm not quite sure yet. I have so many options. I've got Walcott. I've got Sterling, who looks like a spare part at the minute. I think he was playing in a more kind of defensive role against Chelsea. At the back, and at the back, I got Ivanovic. I'm always going to be looking at him, going, it's 7 million, and he's not. He got no points, I don't think, this week. Dreadful.
So he could be your Aguero bank, as it seems. So I've got 27 points. I've got Wilson playing tonight.
Oh.
Very unspectacular, but
Richie just hit the post.
Yeah, Granville, don't talk about the game, because I'll have to edit this entire thing out if you talk about the match on Scoutcast, because obviously I can't leave that in when I do the edit, so don't commentate on the game. Basically 27 points. It's not a good game week for me again either. So pretty mediocre. I mean, before tonight it looked like all 3 of us were going to be on a level, but Benteke did it for you with that fortunate goal, Jonty. Yeah. One manager who is out in front though, Andy. I mean, Jonty, tell us more about fantastic game week for you.
Well, Andy, he's for those that don't know, he's one of the contributors on our site. He does a bit less behind the scenes now, but he's our Leicester expert, so he's a big Leicester fan. So if Leicester do well, then Andy does well. And he started off in the first game week captaining Mahrez. Get that? So he's not only got him, he captained him, so he's still got him. I'm just looking at his team now. So he's got Benteke as well. Captain Sanchez this week, got a return there. So what he's done is he's got a reputation for being quite a maverick with his choices. He's got Kolarov. He played Ward this week, the Palace defender against Arsenal. Now, who would have done that? So Ward got 10 points. Kolarov got 9 points in a game which his teammates scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
And he gets the maximum bonus.
Oh, that's extraordinary, wasn't it? He was on 42 bats after about 70 minutes.
Yeah.
He's just like miles ahead of all the scorers and all the assisters. So, I hadn't looked at it. Has anyone looked at his stats to see
it's the crossing, isn't it? I think it's crossing and key chances. He set up a lot of key chances.
Yeah, Duzra, one of the Fantasy Football Scouts regulars, was on site today with 1,000 million tables that he produces, and it was showing exactly that. It's Kolarov, it's crosses, it's key chances. So he's really excelling in those. And he's on the pitch. That's the thing about Kolarov. Yeah. That's the big thing about him.
He'll get your points, but it's a big if, isn't it? But although they look so good together, Sterling and Kolarov.
I mean, Andy's team is a bit of a masterclass really in how to do this right this season. So we've got a lot to learn. Going into today's match, he was at 13,000th. I mean, going into today's match, I was skirting the 2 million mark. So that says something. He's got Aguero in place. He's got Sanchez.
Well, this is it. He got Aguero and Sanchez from the off, didn't he? So he basically ignored the fact that they were going to be out game week 1. He took that on the chin. He got Sanchez in this week, didn't he?
Yeah, and people this week will be taking hits and they will be wildcarding to get Andy's team. So he doesn't need to. He can just wildcard some point between now and game week 19. He's such a maverick. He'll probably do it when you least expect it.
But this is it, like John T and I were talking before, and Granville. What do you think Andy will do now? Because he is a maverick by nature, but having started so well, do you think the Dullard's going to come creeping out?
No, he just gets the players that he likes. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
It's not. He's fine with what he's doing. He says it's only a game. He's exactly right. You know, I mean,
it's the Leicester players.
And he doesn't really worry about it. So
he's got Vardy as well. So another good striker, 6 million.
Well, we'll see.
That's not to say. I mean, this is 2 weeks. Let's face it. It's not. I can't. It's not going to continue. Those same players aren't going to continue scoring. He's going to have to shift around his team a bit, and he will start doing that. Yeah. But he's not going to play it safe if that's what you're asking. No.
Yeah, but I just think he's got the foundations of his highest ever rank here, and so because like Jonty says, people will be spending points this week to get Sanchez and Aguero. He's got them already. He has got issues. He's got to pay, and he's got Walcott. So presumably they're going to go. So it'll be interesting to see who he bring. I mean, the Dullard move will be bringing in Torre or Silva. I think that's exactly what he'll do. He'll do that.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I was going to say a Dullard move would be that. He's got 5 in the bank, so he can get a 9 million. I don't know. Maybe. Well, he's going to take Walcott out, presumably. Maybe he'll swap. He's got Walcott for 9 million, so yeah, maybe he'll get Yaya Toure. Maybe Yaya Toure is now the new Maverick.
What do we do about Walcott?
Well, we'll talk about that. We've got some community questions coming up.
We'll come to that.
It's just one. So Andy actually played Ward. Who did he play him ahead of?
Richards and Mings. Mings who didn't start again tonight, and Richards who had United at home. So fair enough.
Yeah. I benched him.
Rough for the smooth, Jonty. We've got some fortunes from the community and some nice ones this week.
We have
a bit of variety. Do you want to take us through?
Yeah, so last week we started with some of the smooths. People didn't understand it properly. They started telling us about their great game weeks. We didn't want that. We wanted people to tell us about weeks that were worse than ours.
Yeah, so we didn't want to hear that.
So that's great. So let's start off with Jaffa Lad. He brought Mane in and captained him. So Mane got 2 points. Was that you, Mark? You captained Mane as well?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I certainly did.
It was my vice captain. I was umming and ahhing about it. So. Don't blame it. So he's plummeted to 3 millionth in the world.
Blimey.
And lessons learned. This is the strangest, most bizarre of seasons ever. He says so. Let's go with Ragonian. So he had a hit on the cards to do Rooney and Walcott. Rooney and Walcott out for Aguero and Payet.
And he didn't do it.
And he sat on there, and so it's ranked. Yeah, he's skirting the 3 millionth mark. He's rage wildcarded.
Has he? Yeah, it's the worst of all wildcards.
Rage wildcarded in an angry moment. It's like dumping an unfaithful girlfriend or boyfriend.
You would. I sympathise.
Yeah. And Jambo17, he didn't think it could get any worse after scoring 25 last week. It did. So he's currently on 15 points. He's had his captain play. He's only got Henderson to come. So Henderson's
got an assist out of him.
He's got an assist out of him, and now Henderson's got off. So he scraped the 20 mark. He has also rage wildcarded. Worst start to a season ever. This is one that you've marked earlier, Mark. The roughest. Okay.
Hold on a minute. Jambo came 61st last season. So.
Yeah.
This is an experienced FPL manager.
Yeah. Well, this is
having a hard time. So I mean, take some some comfort.
Oh no, he's I'll take some comfort into his terrible season. So.
Well, the fact that even the best, like he was 61st last year, they're struggling this year. It's just
it's even. So I'm sure he'll turn it around. He's got the experience. Yes, Bauer House 24. You've highlighted this as the roughest.
I think this is
So my transfer choice was between Walcott to Payet or Lukaku to Sacco. So obviously, guess which one he did. He estimates at something around 20 points.
That is awful.
And he's only got and so when bad things like that happen, you want your defenders to step up to the mark. He's got 1 point from his 3 defenders and goalkeeper, and in fact, Mata was his highest scoring player. In fact, he was the only player to get more than 2 points.
I think watching that, I mean, it was bad enough for me to watch that Southampton game, but for someone who'd taken Lukaku out to watch him destroy Southampton,
Oh,
Would have been awful.
Well,
that's a proper lift.
I'm sure we'll come to it, but the thing about Lukaku is, I mean, it's a classic example of form over fixtures. His fixtures are diabolical. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, but he's one of the biggest trolls in fancy gaming, isn't he, Lukaku?
Yeah, he plays against a rubbish team, nothing. Plays against Man City, Man United, or whatever, and it's a hat trick. So, yeah, I mean, he's as a dull player, he is my worst nightmare.
He's a terrible player to own, really is.
Should we hear some good game weeks now?
Yeah, go on then, let's have it. Come on.
Here we go. I like these ones. These are good. Silver Surfer, 4-point hit. Fabregas and Walcott out to AU, who captained, and Sanchez.
That's a maverick. That's a nice move.
That's a nice move. He got out 2 heavy hitters, and he just gambled that they just weren't going to do it again.
But AU captain's a good call.
AU, that's a great call. Really good. Inzi, another regular. I sold Walcott and Sterling to Sanchez and AU for a hit, which worked out well. Of course it did. Same thing there. The 2 players I brought in, they've got him his only attacking points of the season, so they've pretty much pulled his season around a bit, really.
Well, this is it, because the professor was saying at the weekend in our moderators forum that he was second in our moderators league. His team hasn't scored a goal yet, and he was second in our mods league at the weekend. Yeah. Not now, but at one point he was. It's incredible. It's such an odd start to the season.
It's really odd. It really is. I had the same. So those are my first 2 goals for those 2 transfers I made. I haven't even had a clean sheet yet.
No, I haven't had a clean sheet. Defence has been bad, but so yeah, we've got some more here. Boulders, key decision was Aguero from game week 1. He just decided that I'm going to have him in. And attacking returns, obviously captained him versus Chelsea. But the thing is, as well, he's just got his team set up. He doesn't have to think, how the hell do I get a 13 million player in? Done. It's one you've highlighted this as the smoothest. So this we go. This is the 12th man. He played his wild card. So let's see who he removed. He removed Sterling, Walcott, Hazard, Rooney, Kane, Coates. I mean, what's that? 2, none, 1, 2, 5, 6. That's 6 points in total. In came Mignolet, who's on course for a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Darmian got 7.
Clean sheet. Yeah.
AU got 7.
Yeah.
Payet, 9. Yaya, was it 6, 7?
That is extraordinary.
Mahrez, 10. Aguero, 6. Gomez
6.
Another goal. Pele. Oh,
Pele let him down.
Pele let him down.
That's incredible.
I'm sure. Had he put an RMT up and said, "I'm gonna wildcard in game week 2, and I'm gonna get all the players that scored in game week 1." I think he's like, that's just chasing points from last week.
It's not Aguero. Aguero got nothing.
Yeah, but it's not. It's a no-brainer Aguero in a way, isn't it?
I think. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't start with Aguero because he didn't start the first game, so that was fair enough.
But so what effects that had on him? So he's caught all their price rises. So he's got a quite significant kitty building up there, and he jumped from 1.7 million, which is pretty much where us 3 are at the moment, to 300,000, and he's got Mignolet and Gomez
tonight. So if they come away with a shot,
if they come away with 12 points, then he's probably looking at top 200,000, which at this stage of the season is
amazing. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Doesn't this essentially confirm what Mark has always been saying, that the first game week is just about luck? That you just have to get the right player. You don't know what's going to happen, really. There's certain players who won't start off well, certain players who will start off. It doesn't always follow on from the previous season, and it's so difficult to actually get it right. If you're lucky enough to get it right, you can have a flying start, and it's not just game week 1. It's it's a few game weeks after. But in order to actually pick up, you need to play your wildcard so early.
Yeah.
Doesn't it kind of? I mean, I thought about this. That maybe what they do in UFPL is that they give you unlimited. I think it's 4 transfers, isn't it, for the
first 4 game weeks?
16.
I didn't actually use them because I forgot, but you get a load of transfers for the first few weeks. I just wonder whether the FPL would actually benefit from actually being able to change your team.
It's a good point.
In the second and third game week.
I think the problems of starting it and starting with a really bad rank are almost part of it. I quite like trying to claw my way out of the top 2 million.
Phoenix and the Flames. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like that. I mean, I took a call on a variety of players like Walcott, and it was wrong. It was partly luck, and I can look at it with hindsight, some of those decisions. But I wouldn't have got Mahrez in. He wasn't. Some of them, Albrighton was someone.
Jonty, we were talking about him. We were going to get Mahrez in. We were talking about him.
When I look,
hairline decision though.
Well, when I look back at my team, you know, and all the players that came in and out, you know, when you're trying to get your game week 1 side together, Mahrez was never one of them. Albrighton was. I looked at 5 million. I looked at his form last season. I'm kicking myself about that, and obviously kicking myself about. But it's hindsight's a wonderful thing, and you've got to just roll with it.
You will essentially in your wild card, you've got a wild card, isn't it? Your first game week. You will essentially try out most players anyway. You'll be switching them in and out. Albrighton was one that I had in mind as well. I didn't have Mahrez. But the other one, which I got wrong, was I had a choice. I had 5.5 million to spend. I had 3 choices. I had Kolarov, Darmian, and Bellerin. I chose the wrong one. Yeah. It's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, what you're saying about the start of the season, when I feel more comfortable, and when a lot of people on the site I think feel more comfortable, is when there's 4 or 5 games gone and you've got data and you start looking at who's getting touches in the box. Who's creating chances. That's when people on FFS have a bit more of an advantage, and that's when you start seeing our league creep up the league of leagues, and it'll be like probably 12-15 weeks before we start nudging into the top leagues, because our guys take longer to get going. But then you get someone like Andy who just hits it on the head right from the off, and then if he can do that, and then he can study the stats and the form as well, then he could do anything. You know, he could do what Simon March did last season and be, you know, in the top 10 by 10, 12 game weeks in and hold it. So, yeah, I mean, I feel much more comfortable now. I've got 2 matches behind me. I can look at the stats behind these players, and I can got at least something to go on. Whereas at the start of the season, you just don't, do you, really?
Well, I think that's we're coming up to some of the questions from the community here, and this is where we can start giving some, where we can speak with a degree of a better degree of certainty. Unlike last week, we were saying, well, Walcott maybe, I think he'll play. He's not going to play. We know that now.
You keep bringing up Walcott. Let's get on to some questions, because Snid, who asked this question straight to the point, will Mark hold his hands up and admit that he got it wrong about Walcott? Of course, yeah. I'm not the only one who got it wrong about Walcott.
Yeah.
What I don't understand, and what I still don't understand, and I wish I had Arsene Wenger on the Scoutcast. I asked him, but he wouldn't come. He had something on apparently. Is why did you play Walcott in the Community Shield, and then you haven't? You know, he's seen 20 minutes off the bench when you were desperate against West Ham, and that's it. Did he only play him in the Community Shield? Did he only start him in that because he wanted the ink on the contract? Or what's happened? What's changed since? It's a mystery.
I think what changed is that Oxlade-Chamberlain scored, showed good form,
right?
And that was the switch. He just chose Oxlade over Walcott. I don't think Walcott is a good choice at centre forward. I think we've spoken about this loads of times.
Yeah.
Just don't think he's a good centre forward at all. I don't think.
Okay, then why did he start him against Chelsea?
He can fill. Sorry.
Why did he start him against Chelsea for a Wembley showpiece? Against Chelsea, if he didn't rate him as a,
I think he just. I don't know, but it confirmed to him that Walcott isn't a striker, isn't centre forward. Well, so we got it wrong. I mean, I got it wrong.
I know, but we got it wrong because of what Wenger did in that game, and we took that as a marker as to Walcott looks like he's got the shirt.
Yeah.
And then
it's totally in hindsight. I'm saying this now, but I did think that Oxlade-Chamberlain would have a chance of actually starting that first game.
Yeah.
But then, the second game, I thought, well, I'll gamble. I needed to sell some players, and I just thought, well, I'll get rid of Hazard and I'll keep Walcott on the chance that it'll start. I wasn't sure whether he would or not. But there you go. So. Yeah, Walcott, it's troubling because you know that you can get rid of him, but you know that he's got potential to score goals in games, a couple a game. It's just real... At some point he's going to start games. He has to.
Not consistently, I don't think he will.
I think we have to rely. I think we have to rely on injuries. I think Arsenal have had a terrible track record with injuries. Their midfielders. When has Jack Wilshere been fit at the same time as Oxlade-Chamberlain, at the same time as Aaron Ramsey, at the same time as Walcott, and Özil as well was out for a lot last season. So Wenger's got these players, and it's looking like Özil is undroppable for him. It's looking like Cazorla's undroppable. It's looking like Aaron Ramsey's undroppable. And it's looking like Coquelin is the only one who can play that defensive role. And then he's got Sanchez who's undroppable. So that leaves that centre forward role, which I would confidently say after 2 games, Giroud has won that battle. So Walcott's looking at trying to get in on the wing again, and he's got Ramsey and Oxlade-Chamberlain ahead of him there. So this. I mean, yes, Walcott will do it. You've just got to take it on the chin. You've got to get rid. There's so many first rules of fantasy football, but the first one has to be that they play, because you can't get any. It's a shame
because I think Walcott had the potential to rival Sanchez for goals, but it's just not going to happen. But I apologise for backing him, but I wasn't the only one. A lot of pundits pre-season were saying this could be the season for Walcott. He's going to get his chance to play up front. It looked that way, just didn't transpire. Okay, another question. Mike Hebrew says Rooney to Aguero for a hit. Discuss.
Yes.
I've done exactly that. Rooney to Aguero for a hit. A lot of people have as well. I think you've got to have an Aguero plan. He didn't look 100% fit, but Chelsea couldn't handle him. I don't think Everton will handle him. And Rooney, what is going on with Rooney? I suppose we should go to you first, Graham, for a theory about Rooney. What do you reckon?
Well, I was speaking to you about him earlier, wasn't I? You just don't think he's a striker, but we saw him last season, and he played down the centre quite a lot last season, and especially towards the end of the season. He is a striker. He's just started off badly. He has his dips in form where he can't do anything right. He's got Newcastle next. I mean, if he doesn't do anything against Newcastle, I'll hold my hands up and say, he's not the player. He's not the player you should have right this minute in fantasy football. But no, his touches he's never had the greatest first touch, but he's not really getting in the box, and also he's not getting proper support. I don't think Depay has actually started very well at all. It was interesting that he started with Januzaj at number 10. And actually, you'll probably start him again next game. So I think it's worth watching him. But I think he's decided that Herrera is going to be starting on the bench, and he's going to be coming on for whoever is taken off up front. Normally, he'll be playing down the centre. But I think he's got no choice. He's got to play Rooney. He's captain, and he's the only sort of out-and-out striker. He's got Wilson on the bench and Hernandez, but you really trust either of those two right now?
Well, no, I think I've got a theory that Hernandez could start getting games soon, John. Do you what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think what's happened with Wayne Rooney is it's been so difficult to get a kind of handle on him about where his best position is, where he plays, and we can remember over the years his partnerships with and goal scoring with, say, Berbatov or Ronaldo, and we can remember those teams, and we can remember how attacking and how good the sides were then, and it's a different Manchester United side, and Rooney, we don't know what his best role is. Over the last few seasons, he's played quite defensive midfield, attacking midfield. He's played all over. He always wants to be at the centre of the action. Perhaps his best role now is central midfield. I've never really seen him as a top striker. When I look at someone like Aguero or even Harry Kane, that's not Wayne Rooney's game. Especially when you watch him for England as well. It's always a bit strange when he plays up front for England, because he's always running back, and then you think, hang on, Wayne Rooney's passing to. Oh, you're meant to pass to Wayne Rooney, but you're back there, and we just don't know. We haven't got enough information.
When he's played up front, he's always played best in a 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. The side hasn't got. With Mata on the wing, there's not enough pace really. They're not really supporting him well enough. He's just trying to play slide rule balls, and there's no one else trying to get in behind him. I just don't see it working right now. I mean, they've got Newcastle nets, and I think there's every chance that he can score. United could score goals in that game. So I wouldn't be that keen in selling him for a hit right now. But I understand why you've done it because of Aguero and Aguero's form.
Well, I mean, I've done it because I looked at it and thought, well, Aguero not only is more likely to score, I think, on Saturday, even though it's at Goodison and that's a tough game, but the armband will go straight on him, and he's top of the captain poll. So it gives me the obvious captain. Whereas if I kept Rooney, I'm not going to give Rooney my armband. I'd be stuck for a captain. So if Aguero scores and I captain him, I've got that 4 points back easy. Plus, I patched the price. So he's going to go up twice this week, isn't he? And Rooney's going to go down probably at least once. So
no, he's not got twice.
I think
you don't think Aguero go up twice? Well, I think
no, go once. You go once, and I think I'm not sure how it works, but because people, is that right? When you transfer in through a wild card, it doesn't actually count towards the transfers in, for the price rise.
We don't know. The assumption has been that's been the case, but we don't know because FPL quite rightly they keep it secret. They don't publish. Exactly how the price rises. Lots of clever people, look at it and analyse these things, and we can come to some fair assumptions about them. No one's ever gone up more than 0.3 in a week, and we know they did something last season because there was far less price rises and falls. We know perhaps they've changed it this season because there's more price rises and falls.
Well, the thing is, I wasn't going to be sitting there all week watching whether Aguero's going to go up again. It's a horrible experience, and to be honest, I'll take the 4 points and have him in my team because I just don't see Rooney doing it against Newcastle. But I've been wrong lots of times before, so we'll see.
I think he'll get points. But another thing a lot of people have pointed out on the site is he just doesn't look fit enough at the moment. He's going to take a while to get into it, and I think that's good enough. Just on a very basic level, there are players that are fit, raring to go, and there are players that aren't fit and aren't raring to go. So it makes sense now to ditch and maybe come back to Rooney another day.
John, so we've got some more questions there? I think
I like this one, Shifty, about Özil. Now, Özil's one of my players, and I was very pleased with his performance. Not just that he played for an Arsenal midfielder, but he got bonus as well, and he seemed central to everything. I tipped him as the top assister this year. I mean, I suspect it might be Silva, but I still think Özil's going to be there. He seems, he's a player I like, as in player to West Ham, in that he seems central to things, and he's going to rack up those points. So he's just asking, what's our thoughts on Özil? I think he's a great player to have. He's 8.5. I think he is going to be racking up assists and bonus a lot of games. I mean, he's not going to be a 15-point, 17-point player. Maybe once a season, maybe if you're lucky, but he's going to be a 6 to 8 points a lot of weeks. Good fixture, yeah, definitely. I would recommend Özil.
I find him frustrating though. He's got a lazy style about him, and he should be doing better. He did impress at the weekend, but he didn't. He never looks like he's got a threat on him though. That's the thing, and it's all very well having assists, and Silva is the master of those in a way, but at least Silva's got a little bit of a goal threat about him. Certainly last season he seemed.
I think with Özil, that's what you pay into. You have to be aware that you're spending 8.5 million for a very steady, dull. So he's my kind of player, dull player, he's not a goal scoring midfielder, but that's what you pay him for. If you get him thinking you're going to get goals, then he's not the player for you. But if you're aware of that, I think he's great.
Yeah, when you look at it, he's only 0.5 bigger, more expensive than Mane, but they're very different players. Mane's that explosive goal scorer, Özil's that drip, assists, bonus points, and I know Özil's playing that Arsenal team, isn't he? You're always going to get goals. So
yeah, that's it. Özil plays in a better side, so
it's beautifully priced, really. Those two, it's quite clever the way they're pitched because it's a tough choice. A lot of people screaming at the screen, going Özil all day.
I don't think we should discount Cazorla as well because he looks like he's going to be playing every game, and he's on penalties. He will be involved with points as well.
Oh yeah.
So I wouldn't discount him. I think he's on the same level really as it.
Yeah, I think it's actually quite a potentially a tough choice. Comes down to personal taste, but yeah, Cazorla's the same. He's going to get those assists. He's still bombing forward, through the middle. He's doing a good job.
Another question then, John. We got.
I like this one about the market. Yes.
Yeah,
so
there's a couple there.
With the increasing, so let's go. Rupert the horse. I don't think he's actually a horse, by the way. It says with the increasingly rapid player price rises, how important is it to play the market this year? And then Doolittle also asks, with lots of cheap options starting well, how do we decide between what's genuine FPL gold, like Mahrez, or a flash in the pan? So perhaps we might say some Norwich midfielders, maybe.
What was interesting is there was people on the site on Saturday morning going, should I get this player and this player? And they were talking about AU, they were talking about Payet, they were talking about Mahrez, of course. Actually, I gave advice to one guy who said, should I get Mahrez, Payet and AU? And I said, get Mahrez because he's the cheaper one. And I just felt at the time that we hadn't seen Hazard get points, we hadn't really Sanchez, we hadn't seen Aguero. And I just felt that if you were getting Payet and AU, and I know that Granville's got them both in this week, you were then going to have a problem when it comes to then trying to get the money together to get Sanchez and Aguero. And lo and behold, everyone now wants Sanchez and Aguero after they played really well at the weekend. And so, of the three, Mahrez was the best option because he would obviously get you funds as well as being a player in form. Now, I'm not saying AU and Payet are bad ideas, but I think that now that suddenly our sights have moved from the mid-price to the heavy hitters, there's probably one heavy hitter we all want. I haven't got Hazard. I've now got Sanchez and Aguero, and I'm going to settle on those two. And I've got Silva, who's kind of in that bracket, I guess. But most people somewhere are sitting there going, I haven't got Aguero, I haven't got Sanchez. They're suddenly not going, I haven't got Payet and AU. They've got bigger fish to worry about. And I think that's changed the things. I
mean, what's fueling the price rises and falls is that realisation that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that people are trying to get those players in for fear of their price rises and falls, because they're looking at a team they want perhaps on wildcard or perhaps a couple of transfers for a hit, and they're realising that if they don't do it that week, then next week, if Aguero goes up twice or even once, they can't do it. So then they have to look at a different option, and
yeah, but it's very different.
Motivator.
It's very different doing that for Aguero, who you're going to keep for the entire season, or for Sanchez, who you're going to keep the entire season. But doing it for Payet or AU, who are in great form at the moment, but are they players you're going to keep?
No, the thing is, though, I think it's a bit of a myth to say the whole season, because I've never kept Aguero for a season. I've had him lots of times, but Aguero always gets injured. So why would I keep
obviously
Aguero?
He gets injured.
So when he gets injured, and I've got that lovely big price rise from him, I want that big price rise, as I've done pretty much every season with Aguero, actually. Always get him in early and always ditch him as soon as he gets injured. So he's out for 4 weeks. His price goes down to pretty much what I got him for. And I've actually got that profit, which I can spend on another player. You know, he's perfect. Walcott, if he was to play, is perfect because of his kind of 4 to 5 week injury.
So Granville, when you got Payet and AU, did you think about Sanchez and Aguero at the time?
No, I just thought those were the two best. I've got two good games coming up. I'm just going to go for those and just not look any further than that, because I don't think. I mean, Aguero's fixtures start getting really good next week. This week, I think I might have to go without him away to Everton. It's not the best fixture. I just have to hope that he does nothing. I think we got away with it actually this week when he against Chelsea, because I think he could easily have scored more.
Yeah,
he looked that good. But the trouble is, look, the other thing that we haven't mentioned is actually their price falls, because when a player loses his price, you lose 0.1. You don't actually. You know, when a player goes up, you get 0.5, and you have to wait for 2 price rises to get anything out of him. But then he drop, it really does hurt you. And this week, Walcott and Richie have both dropped. Richie had only played 1 game.
Yeah.
He hadn't even played tonight, and he'd already dropped. So I don't know what's going on with the price rises and the price falls, but they seem to be quite harsh.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is what pulls you in.
It is a trouble, yeah, and it pulls you into making sometimes rash transfers. I don't know whether I should just. And I do need to get rid of Walcott, and I'll have to take the 0.1 hit because he's not going to go up again in the near future. But I'm going to have to keep Richie. And hope that he does something. I mean,
the fixtures are good. I mean, West Ham, Leicester, Norwich, Sunderland. I mean, they've got a run where they can score goals. So
yeah. It's just about if I start looking at Sanchez and Aguero, that's a big hit. I mean, those are like the 2 most expensive players in the game, and it means downgrading Ivanovic. Yeah, I am quite a bit behind when it comes to needing to get those players in. Stuck with Walcott Sterling and Ivanovic and Rooney. So yeah, that's probably why people are wildcarding, because of what for the fear, not just of the price rise, but the fear of not having the players.
Yeah.
And losing ground.
And this is what I'm saying. You're going to be much more fearful of Sanchez and Aguero than you are Payet and Ayew. I haven't got Payet and Ayew, but I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, Payet's going to get a hat-trick on Saturday. But if I haven't got Aguero, I'd be thinking just that, because, that can happen. It's a very different. So when you start looking at the mid-price and then you start, okay, now I've got to worry about not having a heavy hitter. I've spent points for that very reason. I wasn't going to do that for Payet and Ayew. But I would do it for Sanchez and Aguero. It's a very different ball game. Mahrez, because going back to Doolittle, he says are there genuine FBL gold? Are there flash in the pan? The mighty Diar says, will the Mahrez bandwagon fall flat on its face? I've got him in. He was my transfer in. Sterling out, Mahrez in. I've looked at the data. I've looked at the stats behind his performances, and he's not going to maintain it, but he's had a hell of a start. Jonty, have you looked at his numbers?
Yeah. I mean, we noticed it last week, didn't he? He had the most goal attempts of a midfielder last week. He's doing the same again. I mean, it's absolutely, he's absolutely on fire here. So, I mean, I'm looking at. Okay, let's have a look at attacking players over the first 2 weeks. So this is prior to the Liverpool game. And we got Pella at top, so obviously he's always top with these things, because he has so many shots. This is shots inside the box I go for here. Alexis Sanchez, so 1.5 matches, he's there with 9. Aguero with 8. Giroud's up there with 8, and then we got Mahrez. So Mahrez is sandwiched between Giroud and Gomez. Those names there, Sanchez, Aguero, Giroud. After 2 games, the top strikers, the top goal scorers are emerging, and Mahrez is there, 5.5. So we're looking at a player that is not just getting 2 shots, 2 goals by luck. He's ramming them in, and he's got 3 goals here. But this is the other thing I like about him. So he's not just goals as well. He's got 10 crosses. So out of that top 5 or 6 players in terms of shots inside the box, he's got 10 crosses. So Albrighton's getting the assists, but if I was to do a table kind of assist imminent, Mahrez would be the one, and that's what you want from a player. 5.5, that's phenomenal value.
Any team who plays Sunderland over these first few weeks, any player is going to have improved stats. Let's face it. Just the way that they're defending at the minute. Just the way that they're playing at the minute. So I think we just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
West Ham, that was a result we probably didn't quite expect, but it did happen. They're playing Spurs. Spurs will give up chances as well. I think you're right that. I think Albrighton's a good shout as well.
Yeah.
If you can't quite stretch to 5.6 now. I think Albrighton's 5. Has he gone up? I think he's
5.1 now. Yeah.
Well, Leicester got Spurs, Bournemouth, Villa. I mean, we'll see. Right. I think Mahrez can easily keep it going. And then the problem is, right, if you don't get on Mahrez when he's 5'6" or even 5'7", what happens to me? And I'm this might not be the case with either of you two or anyone else out there. But if I see a player and he's gone up by 0.4, I suddenly look at someone like Andy and think, well, Andy got him for 5.5, and I've got to pay 5.9. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and be clever and find someone that Andy missed, and I'm not going to pay over the odds. And then what happens is I get punished because Mahrez goes on scoring. So for me, I have to get on Mahrez as early as possible, so I didn't get into that kind of doubt of, I don't want to pay 0.4 more than that man over there, I think, because he got him cheaper than me, and therefore he's got an advantage. And
I think with Mahrez as well, we're not talking about a 10 million player. We're talking about a player that currently is performing like a 10 million player. I'm not saying he is, because I do agree with Granville. Let's not get carried away. He's not a Silva or a Sanchez. But currently for 5.5, 5.6, what's he going to be? 5.7, 5.8 by the end of this week?
Yeah.
That is, you can't turn down that kind of price range.
We saw it last year with Kane, didn't we? I got on early with Kane, so it didn't affect me too much. But there were people who were watching Kane from afar and going, "Oh, if I want him now, I've got to pay 5.8. Now I've got to pay 6. Now I've got to pay 6.2." And it was the fact that they were having to pay that little bit more than somebody had previously that were putting them off. And
it was put it dissuades people, doesn't it? Can we, because I just had a question on YouTube just asking about Sterling.
Oh yeah.
And this is a problem I've got as well, because I've got to get rid of Walcott probably first. And then if I am going to go Aguero, then I'm still going to be sitting on Sterling. Do we think that Sterling is going to, for start, is he going to remain in the starting lineup?
Well, it's interesting because
there's Nasri, and he is a straight swap.
We've got a question on this. Sheet said triple up on City from game week 13. Would you be mad not to? And I think you would. But would you hold Sterling? I don't. Why do you think Sterling's going to lose his place to Nasri? I don't see it. I mean, he had a decent game. He wasn't spectacular, but he did his job against Chelsea. And I think he just adds that extra level of menace that means that Silva's getting that bit more space. So I don't.
Sterling is what he is. He's a fast player that will score the odd goal. He's not a big goal scorer. He's not a lethal goal scorer.
Well, 9 million, you really do need to get goals.
Yeah,
I mean, we're talking about Ozil at 8.5, not really expecting goals, but 9, I think at that point you need to get goals.
I completely agree. That's the way I would look at midfield pricing. I think 8.5. I'm talking lots of assists. That's good value. When you get into 9 million, you're going to want lots of goals there. He's not going to offer that. Plus, he's in a team with Yaya Toure, with David Silva and Sergio Aguero. Plus, the Man City defence is doing pretty well so far. I mean, and Pellegrini did say that one of the things they really needed to sort out was their defence. I mean, looks like he's doing that. So I think there's better options. I'm not saying Sterling's a bad player. I think he's possibly an 8 million player. He's slightly overpriced. I can't see why anyone would get him in when you've got Silva, Yaya Toure and Aguero. So he's fourth out of that list for me.
Now, I agree with that to an extent. I think at the moment, because Company and the City defence are offering value, Mangala, who's looks like he's improved, has been a big factor in that, I think. And yes, so the City defence looks good. So it looks like you have Silva and Aguero and a City defender, or maybe Toure if you can't afford Silva at the moment. I don't agree when you say that Sterling won't get goals. I think in the role he was in against Chelsea, he probably won't, because he was hugging the touchline. And there was a reason for that. He was trying to pin Ivanovic back and he was trying to spread the pitch. He won't play like that away from home. At Everton, he'll come more inside, and I think he'll look more of a threat, I think. So I've sold him, but I think I might regret it. I think he could easily get 12, 13 goals, and he could easily get 10, 12 assists.
Yeah, but it's about here and now, is it? It's about here and now. It's about him. He hasn't found his feet in the team yet. Other players, look better value.
Yeah.
What do you do? Is it do you stick? Do you need to have the 2 or 3 City players for that game? Is it against Watford?
Basically, you've got Watford at home, Palace away, West Ham at home, Spurs away, Newcastle at home. So it's West Ham.
Though, Watford have actually surprised me because they've actually been quite solid. I think they're focusing very much on keeping it tight, especially with that midfield.
Well, I'd like to see him keep it tight on that massive Etihad pitch. Let's have a look at that, because I think, if they put in 3 past West Brom and 3 past Chelsea, probably 2 of the best defences in the league, Watford going to have to play really well to keep that.
It was something that Apple Bonkers, one of our moderators and contributors, who is a Watford fan, was saying that he felt, looking at the new squads, that they were designed for 1-0 or even 0-0. He didn't see a lot of goals, but he did see attack. I think he said it on Twitter. He did see a very, very strong defence there. I think against some of the weaker sides, I think Watford are quite a good bet for getting a defender in. Obviously against Man City they're going to have their work cut out, and I perhaps can't see it there. But you wouldn't play a Watford, not by choice. If you've got a good squad, you wouldn't play a Watford defender against Man City.
No.
All I was saying is that stranger things have happened, and do you need 3 City attackers for that game? I'd say maybe 2. It'd be nice to have 3, but they're very expensive, aren't they?
No, I'm not sure I would. When I say that, for example, Sterling is 4th choice. I wouldn't actually advocate 3 Man City attackers. I would advocate perhaps one of their defenders, perhaps taking a punt on Kolarov, as well as Aguero and Silva, or Aguero and Yaya Toure. But yeah, no, I think 3, because that's so much of your budget. And if they do, we've had 2 games in. It doesn't look like they're going to do what they did last season, where Stoke turn up and beat them, or they struggle against some of the lesser sides. But we don't know. We've only 2 games in, so we're not 100% on what we know. So yeah, I do.
So Granville, are you game week 4? You're obviously going to try your hardest to get Aguero in, but you're just going to settle on Aguero, are you, for game week 4?
Well, I might. I suppose I might as well keep Sterling, because I'm going to be getting rid of Walcott for sure this week, and then upgrade either Kane or Rooney next week. So I'll end up with 2. I'll probably still end up with Sterling.
Yeah,
just hope that he does something.
I think you've got a downer on him. I think he was told to do a certain job against Chelsea, and he played within himself a bit. But I think he'll do all right. I got rid of him with heavy heart at the weekend. Yeah. It was him on Mane, and I kept faith in Mane because Sterling gave me that little bit extra cash, and Sterling was going down quicker than Mane in price. Mane will probably go down as well. So it's a tough call. I would like to have kept Sterling, but just wasn't on. I
look at him the same way as look at Depay. They just play new players in new teams, and it'll just take them a little while to get the feet under the table, and start producing. No, but I think they're both going to do well this season.
Another question then, Jonty, just to end on, maybe a last one.
Okay. Well, let's go for this one actually. Silver Surfer, 3-5-2. So. There was that season 2 or 3 years ago where we had the kind of power 5, the midfield 5. Wasn't much choice up front, so it kind of worked. So we've got Aguero this year. We've got a few cheap options. We've got Sacco, Diouf, Gomez, mid-priced options. But I've got to admit, there's a lot of midfielders that are performing, a lot offering value as well. I think you might have something there. I think this could be a 3-5-2. It's always a risk. Another striker emerges. You've only got those 3 spots, but I think it's emerging. You've got to try and be flexible though, and get on to 3-4-3 as soon as you can. But I think 3-5-2. Why not?
Well, the factor that could see it turn that way is someone like Mahrez, who you're going to spend 5.5 on, maybe a little bit more. But then, are you going to bench him? Because after what he's doing at the moment, he's probably one that you're going to play every week. He's not really a 5th midfielder. So then, if somebody else pops up like that, you're looking at Barkley maybe, who's suddenly looking like he could do it again. And so you get 2 mid-price players and you think, well, I don't want to bench either of those because they've got it in him to score anywhere. Suddenly you are looking at 5 in midfield because the heavy hitters are there. So. And Aguero is making it very difficult to get 3 strikers together, isn't it?
And also the 5 million, the 5.5 million strikers, they're just not performing well. It's only 2 games in, so it's a bit early to say. Wilson has not done it so far. He has got good fixtures though. Wilson could be turning the 3-5-2 on its head. We don't know.
And you look at Deeney as well.
You've got Deeney. Is he going to get lots of goals? Cameron Jerome. And then you've got some of the Newcastle a bit cheap, and you're not going to get those. You're not going to get those that kind of value there. Whereas they're equivalent for price. Your Albrightons, your Mahrez's, these Norwich midfielders. Houlihan is assisting everything. You got Nathan Redmond. He's scoring everything.
And Cabaye as well.
Why would you? Why would you? And in order to get perhaps a more reliable, I know Sacco didn't do it this week, but I would consider him a more reliable striker. Diouf at Stoke is someone that I've definitely got my eye on. You're looking at those players, but they're 6.5.
Yeah.
So you've got to play them, really. You can't just leave 6.5 on the bench. That's not bench fodder. So
I look at it and go, you've got Ayew and you've got Payet. And you've said about Nathan Redmond. There's mid-price midfielders who look like they're going to do it, on a regular basis. And because Mahrez is there and he's so cheap and you're going to play him, Houlihan as well. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to turn away from the 3 up front for a while at least until someone emerges, and maybe someone will arrive in the window. But at the moment, I think he's onto it there. I think 3-5-2 could be the way. Okay, let's look quickly at the fixtures before we discuss our transfers. Clean sheets out of this lot. You got to fancy United home to Newcastle, and you Granville.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 in a row, coming at it again. Can't see Newcastle scoring.
I did say after the game, I said the first thing I said after the game was that I haven't been as confident in our back line for years, and they just look they look really good. But it's a lot of it's down to Schneiderlin being in front of them. I think they're going to keep loads of clean sheets. I'm ruining the fact that I didn't get Darmian when I had him and I switched to Bellerin. I don't know why, and then Bellerin got injured. He did play last game, but he didn't get a clean sheet. But I think a United defender could be in these first few weeks. I think he's a must.
Well,
and it's such a shame that that Blind hasn't been put down as a defender, because it looks like he's going to be playing in defence the whole season. The way he's doing really well. Smalling.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle have got a little bit about them. Mitrovic will come on and get booked again. Probably that's about the only thing that they're going to offer up. I just can't see it. Panis Villa, I see Panis maybe being. They didn't keep many clean sheets. I think only
they don't, and they don't keep them at home either. I think quite attacking.
You still got to question the Villa goal for it. I don't see it. Then further down, I mean, Norwich Stoke, I can't see that one. Sunderland Swansea, no chance there. West Ham Bournemouth, maybe West Ham. I fancy your first clean sheet there.
Yeah, I think West Ham. That's a good one. I wouldn't put it as safe as Man U, but West Ham, I think.
I've been watching the Bournemouth game tonight, and they had most of that second half. They should really have scored. They did. They I don't know about West Ham. I'm just not sure whether they're actually that good at the back.
I've got a couple of stats here which does back up Granville there. So it's shots conceded in the box so far, first 2 game weeks. So we've got Sunderland at the top, they're whipping boys, 26. Chelsea, 23. That just shows. Palace, 23. So no surprises there. Then West Ham, 22.
And
then
that was against Arsenal, wasn't it? So
yeah, but then Everton, 19. So yeah, against Southampton, but they kept them out. So there's hope there for Man City owners there. So no, I mean I look at the rest. I think possibly Watford against Southampton.
Really? You see that?
Yeah.
What's going on with Southampton? What actually happened? I didn't see the game.
It was poor. I mean, they were just poor at the back. I mean, you talk about Schneider at United in making a difference. Well, he has made a difference. He's made a difference to Southampton as well, because they haven't got Toby and you haven't got Schneiderlin, and it shows. And then I don't think there's a real problem going forward. I think they're a bit unfortunate. Mane had a good effort early on. It was saved, and then that could have turned it round. Pella had plenty of chances again. I think Mane and Pella will be fine. They'll get goals, but they're letting them in. So
yeah, that's the trouble. I mean, we've got Cedric, haven't we? Have you got Cedric?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, but Cedric. I mean, they've got Watford, Norwich, West Brom. There's not goals in those 3 teams, so
yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to hold on to him for a bit, but yeah,
he's an attacking threat. But the thing is, you end up having to play him. And he's picking up yellow cards, and they haven't had clean sheets yet. So it's just, I benched Ward this week, and it's cost me. I just felt that Southampton would actually be able to keep a clean sheet against Everton, and how wrong we were.
Yeah.
Okay, transfers. John, do you want to go first? Tell us what you're doing. I've got a feeling I know what Granville's going to do. But
okay, right. Well, I've taken out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Taken out 12 players because I'm wildcarding.
Oh, okay. You kept that one quiet.
Yeah. So
okay.
I pretty much overhauled my team. I've got 48 points because Benteke has got 3 bonus points. Fine. So I'm coming at that with a position of being on the up there. So I've got 48 points this week. I've got lots of players I don't want. I've got lots of players I do want. I've got lots of players who are falling in price. I've got lots of players that are going up in price. So in comes Darmian, who we've already mentioned. I already had Payet in place. In comes Company. In comes Aston Villa's Richards.
Oh, he's such a knee-jerker.
Why
would you have Company? What is it, 6-1?
Because he's a reliable member of the Man City defense.
He's going up. He's starting every match,
he's going up. And I can downgrade down to another 6 million. I like to have a good 6 million defender, and I can go down.
Why did you get Collar off?
Because Clichy.
Come on.
Kolarov not my style. I've got Ward, so your man Ward. I've got Mahrez. I've got Silver in.
You got Ward because he scored.
Yeah. No, I didn't get Ward in. I got Ward in.
You got scored because he scored. You got Company because he scored 2.
Go
on, who else have you got?
Mahrez, because he scored 3.
Oh!
Yeah, I know. This is a real surprise.
Any of your players that you got speculators?
This is kind of how people play fantasy football. You get players in that are good and score lots of goals.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a bloke who played wildcard.
This is a full Jonty on Jonty.
There's got to be one punt in there, Jonty, surely.
There is one punt. So let's go through this. So I've got Silva, Sanchez, these aren't punts. Aguero, Gomez, Diouf is my punt.
Right, okay.
And I also have Houlihan from Norwich.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
I like my 4.5. It goes back to what Silver Surf was saying about 3-5-2. I haven't quite gone 3-5-2 because I've got 3 strikers, but I can do a little bit. I've got a little bit of room for manoeuvre. Wes Houlihan, I think, is a significant upgrade on Darren Fletcher, who I had for 4.5. I can play Wes Houlihan.
Well, Houlihan's a 5 million, isn't he?
He's 5 million, yeah. So I can play him. And so yeah, I've got players that have done well, that are going to make me money, that lots of other players have got who are in the higher echelons of the game, and I've got a bit of sense of manoeuvrability. And the key thing about getting some of these players is that I've got Sanchez, Silva, and Aguero. So I've got 3 really good captain selections there for the next 8-9 weeks.
That's intimidating stuff, John. I thought I'd gone knee jerk. I've held on to the wild card, but
they're very jerky.
Yeah, I kept my transfers this week, so I had 2. So I took Walcott out straight away for Sanchez before Walcott dropped, and then Sunday night I just did it. I just Rooney to Aguero and Sterling out to Mahrez. So I've lost 4 points, but I've got Sanchez and Aguero in. And I got Mahrez in. It's pretty dull, pretty predictable, but I think I had to do it. But so my team is kind of halfway to being what you've got there, but you've gone the full Jonty, as they would say, and you've gone the wild card. So fair play to you. I mean, having got 48 points tonight, you must be very happy with that. The situation you got. So
that's really helped, actually. I mean, you think low scoring week, and Benteke gets you 18. It just changes it completely.
So that's taken me. Not to where I want to be, but it's taken me higher than where I was, and I can now move from there. I think with the players I've got now, I was looking. Always the key with a wild card for me is you start jiggling around with it, and if you think that the team that you're putting in is significantly better than the team you're taking out, then press confirm wild card. At game week 1, I looked at my team and I still wasn't sure. There were still things I didn't know. I feel a little bit more confident now, and it really was Aguero and Sanchez. It was evident that Sanchez is the best Arsenal asset, and he's captain material. In fact, I might even captain him this week, I think, against Liverpool.
So none of us have got Hazard then. There we go.
No, gone. That's me gone.
Yeah. So, Granville, how do you follow that?
Or any Chelsea player?
No.
Well, it gives a chance. Chelsea are going to be fighting for the league this season. Don't care what anyone says. You know, I mean, it's just a bad start. That's all. Come on. I mean, are you telling me Chelsea are going to continue on like this?
No, I don't think so at all. But I'll get Chelsea players in when they start pulling their finger out.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's just not happening for them.
I'm not getting them out.
What are you doing this game week then? Because you've got a wild card and a 4-point hit against you. What are you doing? You're sitting on Rooney, you're sitting on Walcott and Sterling, are you? What's going on?
I don't know. I really don't know. I'm really worried about these wildcard players.
Wildcard now, do it.
I'm thinking, well, maybe I should do it myself, but it's. And I'm thinking, well, when else am I going to play it? Because I've got 19 weeks to play it. Is it 19 weeks? Is that what it is? Is it exactly halfway?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it's 17 left. So.
Because there's not going to be any double game weeks, are there? Really, in the first half of the season, unlikely.
Yeah.
So it's I need to probably start identifying weeks where it's a good place to play it. Maybe it's better to play it next week, when Aguero does have that good, and just take the risk of not just one more week's worth of data and just take the risk that Aguero isn't going to do anything.
Well, it's one more week's worth of price rises and falls. That's the issue at the moment. It just seems to be really volatile, doesn't it?
The moves I've just described to you left me with nothing in the bank.
Right.
So.
And how much did you save? Did you fire that wildcard off before?
No, I missed one. I missed the Friday. I think it was a Friday or Saturday raise. I didn't do it immediately. So you just got to take that. I mean, I just thought there's something about it. It just felt right. The other thing was, as you mentioned about, you've got to use it by game week 19. So I didn't have that thing hanging over me saying, I want to save it for these double game weeks. I can't. Yeah. So I just thought, when am I going to use it? I mean, I used one last year, game week 12, 13, and it was quite good. But to be honest, I could have probably just taken a couple of hits back then. I don't think my team would have been in a worse position than it was now. With Rooney as my 10.5, I just didn't have enough room. And the other thing that was getting to me was my defence. I was getting nothing. I was getting 3-4 points total from my defence for 2 weeks in a row. You've got to be getting at least a clean sheet, getting over 10, just to tide you over. And Darmian, I'm looking at his bonus points, and as you described about Manchester United's defensive resilience, they've got Schneidl in there, Schweinsteiger, they've got more defensive. I just think he's going to get me clean sheets.
It's just the way the play as well. It's not great risk taking, just knocking the ball about. They eat up time just where the possession. Yeah,
which is more points for defenders, more bonus points rather for defenders, because they're doing more, they're intercepting more, they're passing more.
No, it's good. It's a good shout.
Well, I don't know about you, Granville, but Jonty's words of wisdom has tempted me to press the button, even though I've only spent 4 points.
Do it.
Well,
I'm quite intimidated, to be fair, Jonty.
You'll get the 4 points back, won't you?
Yeah, exactly. So it is very, very tempting to just to log off of this and have another look at my team, because you rightly said, I've got nothing for my defence and I've got nothing coming as well this week. And I'm looking at it going, because the thing is, when do you play it? And I do think this, given that you can't carry them beyond game week 19, it's a pretty compelling argument. But I don't know, I'm still wavering. But I've got the players I want for now, but it is very, very tempting. Granville, I admire your resilience. If you don't play this wildcard this week, I will be amazed. But fair play to you if you stick by what you got.
I don't know. I just playing a wild card game week 3. It just seems so wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rules are slightly changed.
I just wanted to add actually, Matt Martinek, known as Spider Matt, FPL champion 2 years ago. He played his wild card last week.
Right.
He says he always plays it early, and he's had 4 top 1,000 finishes, including number 1. So.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Jonty. That's just compounded the doubts in my mind, and probably everyone who's listening as well. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much, Jonty. Thank you very much, me. And it's a good night for me.
Good night.
And good night for me.
Good night, all.